Smoking is bad. Not as bad as terrorism. But you will never see an advertisement for a pack of Winfield Blues among the endless gigabytes of online sales pitches by Australian law firms spruiking their services in steering terrorism defense cases through our courts. Smoking is legal and, for all its devastating effects on the person and the public, a contributor of many billions of dollars in tax revenue to the government. Terrorism is not only illegal but perhaps the only crime held in graver contempt by society than murder, rape or pedophilia. Should law firms be banned from advertising their expertise in fighting terror charges? It is therefore a matter of great importance that any individual charged with terrorism offenses is furnished with all the promises of our democracy which enshrine the right to a fair trial. That right, century so old, must apply to all criminal charges, even ones drafted this century. But it is difficult to conceive of a benefit conferred on society or, for that matter, on individuals charged with terrorism by the advertising of a lawyer's excellence in rebutting such accusations, as revealed on A Current Affair tonight. Law firms around Australia are now devoting chunks of their marketing budget to spruiking their skills in terrorism defense. Unfathomable as it was less than a decade ago, lawyers are now literally advertising for clients charged with terrorism. One Sydney law firm boasts on their website of their knowledge and skills to help you overcome terrorism accusations, leaving you free to get on with your life. Shortly after our inquiries, the firm inserted the word false before terrorism, presumably in response to our concerns. A Brisbane criminal lawyer writes, if you have been charged with a terrorism-related offence, such as the offences related to foreign fighters or funding terrorism, it is in your best interests to talk to him directly. Terror charges have surged in Australia. Lawyers are cashing in on defending accused terrorists. Their motives become understandable when you learn that in New South Wales alone, taxpayers have paid for 48 terrorism defence cases over the past 6 years through legal aid, nearly one every 6 weeks on average. That doesn't take into account the dozens of matters in other states around the Commonwealth or the clients with enough money to bankroll their own defences. Sadly, figures reveal in black and white that defending accused terrorists in Australian courts has become a multi-million-dollar industry. Young people who would once have been at risk of delinquency are now lured to terrorism. No sensible person could possibly argue that the defendants in these matters should be denied the services of partial and proficient advocates, but I struggle to imagine them sitting in the remand wings of supermax prisons plugging good terrorism lawyers into search engines and doing the ring around. Clearly these advertisements are far more likely to be stumbled upon by somebody not in custody, the very last type of person who should be exposed to such content. These ads appear alongside similar promotions advising potential clients of law firms' experience in drink driving, assault and drug possession matters. Common as terrorism has regrettably become, the response is surely not to normalize it to a level on par with being caught with a bag of pot in your glove box. Some law firms boast of their ability to beat terror charges. As Justin Sibley, one of the lawyers I interviewed as part of tonight's investigation, told me, young and impressionable clients charged with terrorism these days are the ones who used to be charged with graffiti offenses or truancy. That is to say, they are easily swayed and the type of person with a predilection to crime, with a predilection towards contact with the legal system and criminal law firms, a potential graduate from the scungy world of petty misdemeanors to the theater of political mass murder. I'm not suggesting that these advertisements alone have the potential to inspire a teenager to behead a policeman, any more than a jingle for a specific brand of cigarette might inspire somebody to race to the nearest tobacconist. Australian law firms are beginning to mimic American advertising tactics. But both pieces of PR serve to alter a general mood, to make smoking desirable on a subliminal level and to make terrorism just another offense, negotiated by the same experts who stop licenses from being taken from people caught driving tipsy the morning after the office Christmas party. As a disciple of the free market, in almost all circumstances I detest the idea of a ban. Apart from undermining our freedoms, they rarely work. Generally, if you want to make an activity flourish, outlaw it. NSW has had 48 terror defense cases in the past 6 years where the accused asked for legal aid. However, as long as we live in a society which sees it appropriate to heavily regulate the advertising of tobacco, gambling and drinking products, with some success, surely the legal profession should find itself equally vulnerable to strict guidelines. And, given the devastation wrought by nearly 2 decades of attacks worldwide since September 11 and the subsequent degradation of our civil liberties and freedom from fear, I think the line should be drawn somewhere this side of advertisements which claim their target market as alleged terrorists while spruiking to potential ones. Copyright 9 Digital Thai Limited 2017.